I came from Brazil.
Hello everyone, I'm so sorry that I've been out of action the past week or two. Life just sort of got in the way, but I'm back and I'm going to be running through some of my November favorites with you, on beauty favorites and some non-beauty related stuff as well. Now let's begin with skincare. One of my favorite products that I've tried recently is the premium Hydra B5 lotion. Now this 120ml lotion bottle costs just under 50 bucks in Singapore. They're now available on Lazada and Shopee. So besides being very reasonably priced, they have the feel and the performance of luxury skincare, which is why I was going on and on about it on Instagram recently. I have a highlight talking just about this product on my Instagram account if you want to go have a look. The star ingredient for this product is vitamin B5, which is also called panthenol. Now, we see a lot of vitamin B3 and B6 in skincare, but not really B5. And we see panthenol used in a lot of hair care products because of its ability to really smooth over rough texture and hold moisture. So in skincare, what this does is it performs almost like ceramide oils, where it sort of like smooths over and leaves a protective film on the skin, but it's very weightless. Unlike ceramide oils, it doesn't feel like an oil. So this is just like very lightweight moisture. And then panthenol, when it sinks into your skin, actually breaks down into a smaller molecule which holds water, and this is called pantothenic acid. This works a little bit like hyaluronic acid because it grabs moisture and then it holds it in the deeper layers of your skin. This actually keeps you hydrated for a longer period of time without having to use like a greasy product or something that's too heavy on the surface of your skin. Now, I've been really loving this in the daytime under makeup. So you use this as a moisturizer if you're not extremely dry. So it absorbs really quickly, it doesn't mess around with your primers and your makeup. And makeup sits beautifully on top of it. And then through the day, I tend to get kind of dry. So, in about 4 or 5 hours, I'll see my makeup start getting patchy in areas, or, it starts to break down or fade. With this, my skin stays very fresh feeling, kind of, it still feels matte, but it doesn't feel dry. Now, I've seen other products in the same line, the Hydra B5 line, and there was a face wash, a toner, I think there was a cream as well. If you have dry skin or you just want to layer on more products at night, you can try the cream. And they also have a sleeping mask and a face mist for hydration through the day. The lotion itself is their star product and bestseller because it's so fresh and so lightweight. I wouldn't suggest this for very dry skins and very sensitive skins, because if you're very dry, you might want to go with the cream instead. That one's a little bit thicker and more nourishing. And if you have very, very sensitive skin, or you know that you are sensitive to things like fragrance and all that, this does have a floral fragrance. A lot of Eastern Asian luxury brands do, because it's all part of the whole sensorial experience. So it's just something that you may want to bear in mind. It's rare to find brands that use very effective ingredients and formulas and then don't overprice themselves just to try and sort of hit the luxury market. They occupy a very nice middle range sort of a tier in terms of pricing, but the quality of the skincare is top notch. Now, this is a little bit of a surprise for me because I'm a huge fan of Sunday Riley's CEO serum. So that's made with THD ascorbate, which is an oil-soluble vitamin C. I've spoken about it in an earlier favorites video, and I do still swear by that. But I've just sort of been enjoying this more and more as I used it the past 2 months or so. And it's got 15% L-ascorbic acid, which is water-based vitamin C. It works if you're not using, heavy or very rich skincare in the day. And I think what I really like about it also is the pumpkin ferment extract in it. So it's got pumpkin enzymes, and it helps to sort of smooth and brighten the skin even as the vitamin C gets to work on, repair and all that. I, strangely enough, find this to be something I prefer to use at night, even though it says it's a day serum, because I feel in hot places like Singapore, where I live, sometimes using a vitamin C plus an enzyme exfoliant can be a little bit much in the day, especially if the sun is like extremely strong and harsh. So I like it overnight because it really brightens, and it's sort of like a dual action thing. Besides just using vitamin C to help your skin repair and regenerate itself and fight free radicals, it's also got the enzymes to sort of polish your skin a little bit. So I consider this a 2-in-1 repair serum. If you have no problems using this in the daytime, your skin doesn't react to it, and you're using a very good sunblock, then by all means, you know, keep doing it. But I actually like this a lot in the nighttime. Now, PeterThomasRoth, I've been trying out that mask frenzy kit, you know, all 6 of the masks. And oddly enough, this month I've been really into the pumpkin enzyme mask. More enzyme as well, and more pumpkin. This is sort of like a scrub mask in texture. It's got little grains in it, but I don't really rub it around on my skin when I use it because I don't want, you know, any abrasion, extra abrasion on the skin. I'd rather the chemicals just get to work and polish my skin evenly, and I don't want to scratch my skin up, if you get what I mean. If you're sensitive and you have sort of thin skin or dry skin, you might want to just be very gentle with this. And you just need to leave it on for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then it will sort of start to work on your skin. This uses alpha hydroxy acid, aluminium oxide, as well as the enzymes. And so far, even for my skin, I have not felt any stinging or burning sensation wearing this on my skin. Once in a while, let's say like, you know, a day after I've used like a 10% glycolic acid toner, if I apply this, maybe I get a tiny bit of tingling, but nothing, no redness, no rashes, no eczema, nothing when I use this. And it just leaves your skin very polished. It's just a very quick and effective exfoliant. You know, if you want your skin to look really bright for a big occasion or an evening out, you know, just apply this, leave it on for 3 to 5 minutes, rinse it off, and you're glowing. Now, I kind of hate that I like this so much because it is one of his more expensive masks. So this is the one that's $100+ in Singapore. What can I say though? It works. Now, makeup, but I'm going to move on to a makeup product that has skincare properties, and that is my ItCosmetics CC Plus Oil-Free Matte. During that time of the month, you sort of get spots on the same places that you had them last month because, you know, that's just your oily zone, your problem zone. And for me, it's around my nose area, and this is the oiliest part of my face. And as far as possible, I try to keep it as clear of makeup as possible because that just causes more issues. Even if the formulation for the foundation or concealer you're using is non-comedogenic, it's really hard to avoid clogging up the area because you have just so much sebum and oil and sweat coming out at the same time as, you know, you're trying to keep coverage on and you're powdering and layering makeup on top of that glaze. So this month, I wore only ItCosmetics CC Plus Oil Free around my nose area, and I had to go like 15-hour days, 12-hour days for several days last week. And usually that's a recipe for disaster. I'll just wake up with lots of clogs the next day because you're just sweating and, you know, getting oily under all that makeup. Nothing on my face right now. My skin is completely clear. I kind of feel that this sort of helped because it contains tea tree and other kind of plant extracts and, you know, things like niacinamide and all that, which are very good at countering inflammation and keeping skin calm. So while it's not an oil control formula, don't consider it an oil control formula at all. I still get a little bit dewy and the oil still comes out. But this sort of keeps my skin calm. It's like skincare plus makeup in one. So I will definitely keep using this for as long as I need coverage around my nose area. I'm sort of slowly fading this old acne mark that has been there for a while. And, you know, if I can just keep it from breaking out again in that same spot, I am set in 1 or 2 more weeks. If you have hormonal breakouts, you might want to try something like this in place of your regular makeup. I would say ideally about 1 or 2 weeks before that time of the month. Now, blushes. I'm not a huge blush girl, but with this hair going, I kind of need a little bit more color around my cheeks to stop myself from looking dead. And I have been in love with the LauraMercier blush color infusions. These two are Chai and Peach. It's a formula that goes on very, very fine and very sheer, but you can build it up to high intensity as long as you keep layering it on. Now, I have a lot of favorite blushes that I love purely for the color alone. But I've not come across a blush that impressed me, not just because of the color and the finish and skin, but because of how well it lasts throughout the day. Now, these are designed to be 10-hour wear formulas, and I can say I can still see even this very soft neutral shade. It would be there at the end of the day. And I cannot say that about many blushes because my skin is kind of dry and things sort of fade. And especially if you try to apply blush over powder sometimes, it just doesn't grab in a couple of hours. It's sort of, it's kind of muted, and then, by midday it's mostly gone. And I've never had any issues with this formula staying on the entire day. And it just looks really, really good even at the end of the day. Some of these have like a very, very fine-grained pearl to them, but they're not shimmery by any means, so you don't have to worry about it emphasizing pores or texture in your skin. It just makes everything look quite airbrushed and beautifully finished. Highly recommend this formula. I really, really love them. Now, an older blush that I used to love, forgot about, and then pulled out again recently is MarcJacobs Kink and Kisses 504. So it's this beautiful pinky coral shade. I've been transiting to more warm neutral eye and lip colors now that my hair's faded a little bit and it's leaning a little towards the green-blue side. This is a shade that is both soft and vibrant depending, where your brush lands. And because it's got that sort of like a cool baby pink and then a warmer corally shade here, it sort of goes with both warm and slightly cooler lip colors as well. So it's a very, very versatile and flattering color, and I've been trying to avoid shades that are a little bit too neutral, too brown, too bronzy, because it just doesn't go with the overall color scheme of my hair and makeup right now. And something like this is just very, very flattering. It's very, very pretty on the skin, and I just love it. Now, I've not had a lot of new favorite brow products for a while because, I find my favorites and I stick to them for years and years and years, you guys know. But I recently tried ElizabethArden's Statement Brow Gel. Now, this is the colored version. It's called Honey 02. And it's got this really strange and fat, bulbous brush. It deposits just enough product, never too much. You don't get this huge clumpy mess around your brow hairs. It's just a little bit, but it's enough to hold the hairs in place. I'm really picky with my brow products, and this is fantastic. Now, shiny, pretty shadows from MAC. I love these so much. I can't stop wearing them. I've been wearing them non-stop for the past 3 or 4 weeks. Can you see the pigmentation level on that and the sparkle? I don't need to use these wet. I find they go on perfectly fine when they're used dry. So this shade is Major Win. So this is sort of like a cool tone pink. And then I have P for Pink, which is my favorite shade. It's sort of like a taupey pink, so like a rosy neutral. So beautiful. And then the last shade I have is called Joy 2, which is sort of a violet blue shift, sparkly shift. That's there. And the thing about these is they are glitter shadows, but they have some creamy pigment to them as well. So it's not just like a scattering of glitter particles over your lid. Now, what I love about these is you can wear them on their own as a lid shade, and the colors are really strong, really vibrant. Or you can just pat this on top of other eyeshadows if you've already done an eye look. What I'll do sometimes is I'll pack it on in the middle when I've done a matte eye, or I'll put it on the inner corners of my eyes, and it just pops. It just looks so beautiful. And the best way to use these is with your fingers. I don't like these with brushes. I think you just kind of scatter the glitter particles all over the place. They have a sort of like a waxy cream base to them, so they work really, really well and transfer really well if you just apply them with your finger. And I bought all of these too. They're not PR. My only complaint about these is the price, because they are $39 whopping. That's a lot. But it's a nice formula. I'm a sucker for sparkle and I love using this. So now, another thing that I featured once or twice and that some of you were kind of curious about was the 3CE Multi-Eye Color Palette. This is smoother, so it's the one with 9 completely matte neutral shades. It looks like a very nothing kind of a palette, and it is, but it is so flattering. I'm wearing it on my lids right now. It doesn't have a lot of extremes in tones, you know, there's only one dark shade, most of them are medium-ish to light. It doesn't look like you would get a whole lot out of it, but this has been the most versatile and most reached for palette in my entire collection in the past month or so. I don't know why, maybe it's because they are such perfect partners for things like this, or you know, these sparkle palettes from NYX. When you do a whole matte eye and then you just put a tiny bit of sparkle, whether it's along the lower lashes, whether it's in inner corners, whether it's in the middle of your upper lid, everything just stands out and looks so beautiful. This is low maintenance makeup. You apply it to complement other makeup. You know, it's not there to stand out on its own. I've been doing a lot of like just colorful liner or sparkle on one spot of my eye, and this is just a no-brainer. It just makes life so easy. You just swipe it on, you know, add a little warmth around your socket area, add some definition around the lids, but it doesn't look like too much. Now I know everyone has neutral palettes and it doesn't make sense to ask any of you to go out and buy more, but if you don't have an all-matte neutral palette and you're considering one, I do find, you know, the tones in this to be really, really beautiful. There are no shades in here that I feel are redundant. Most of them are just beautiful on their own, and I've been having fun, you know, just trying different shades all over my entire lid just to see how they look. So if you're in the market for one that is not too expensive and where, you know, you just want some options to complement other eyeshadow palettes that you have, you might want to consider the smoother palette by 3CE. Now, I have 2 lip colors that I'm in love with, and the first one is what I'm wearing right now. It's called Rose Prism, and it's one of the matte tints from LANEIGE. It's sort of a muted orange beige, and it works like a stain. It goes on matte, but it doesn't have a heavy, opaque texture, so you can sort of apply it lightly and then just concentrate the color around the middle if you want that really stained, bitten effect, or just apply a thick layer all over. It works either way. And what I like about this formula is it doesn't darken when it dries down. So what you apply is what you get 1 hour later. And it takes a while to dry down, but it does dry down. So this does last. But I would still bring this out to reapply after lunch because it can wear down with oily foods the same way all liquid lipsticks do. Now the Va-Va-Voom color of the month has to be ShuUemura's Hazelnut Ganache. I tried this on Instagram story, I think last week or so, and I was like, oh, the color! This is like chocolate, deep dark chocolate with a tiny bit of wine in it, so it's not so severe, it's a little bit more flattering, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous, rich, creamy color. And a tiny bit of wine, lots of chocolate. And this is one of their cream formula lipsticks. So it's not one of the mattes, but it's part of the limited edition collection, so I would try and get this before everything is gone, if you like dark colors, that is. They have a few other colors as well, but this is just my #1 favorite, and it's so comfortable. This smells like chocolate truffle. Straight up chocolate truffle. All the lipsticks in the collection smell like chocolate, so it's just amazing. It's just... Speaking of smells, 2 scents that I've been enjoying recently. Both of them are old releases, nothing new right now. One is Prada Candy. My bottle is very well used. This is something that I fell in love with and then wore so much that I got sick of it and then just left it around for a while, and then I recently just picked it up again. Now it only has 3 notes. It is just like Prada to do a very girly, very gourmand, candy inspired scent, but keep it so minimal that it only has 3 notes. This has caramel, benzoin and musk. That is all. It's mostly benzoin and musk. Benzoin is a plant resin that has a sort of a smoky, powdery, vaguely sweet smell that reminds some people of vanilla. There are other caramel-based scents which are extremely heavy, very syrupy, very sweet, fun, but very heavy. You know, Victor and Rolf, Bonbon, you have quite a few of the juicy couture scents, all the stuff that you get from, you know, Victoria's Secret and Bath & Body Works. You know, this is nothing like that. It is very warm, but it's also very soft and very feminine and just classy, you know, not sweet enough to smell cheap. It smells more like benzoin than caramel to me, kind of creamy and musky, and it's really pleasant. Now, I don't find the Prada Candy flankers to be worth the money, in my opinion. Just find them kind of generic, and most people buy them because of the bottle, because of the brand, because they smell pleasantly generic. I feel the artistry kind of stopped after the first Prada Candy. And if you are looking for something a little bit more unique that has a little bit more individuality, I would stick with the original one. Coco Mademoiselle by Chanel. This is a classic that was Chanel's bestseller for several years. One funny tidbit I remember reading about this a few years ago was that this was the most shoplifted perfume in the US for a few years running, and I don't know who has those stats. It's just so funny to me. Now, I have this in both the EDP and parfum version. This is the most concentrated form that you can buy. So it comes in a small little glass bottle with the stopper that you apply to your skin. And I obviously very much prefer the parfum version to the spray-on ones because you get more of the scent, less of the alcohol. And it's not as loud when you just apply it, but it lasts for several more hours. The amount of alcohol in eau de toilette and eau de parfums makes them project for a short period of time and then they disappear off your skin. Whereas for the perfume oils and pure perfume extracts like this one, it sort of just stays in your personal zone, but it lasts for many more hours. The concentrated perfume versions are formulated differently from the eau de parfums, which are also formulated differently from the eau de toilette. So it's not like you create the formula and just add different amounts of alcohol to each one. Now, the most popular format for Coco Mademoiselle is usually the EDP, because it's slightly more concentrated and longer lasting than the EDT, and it comes in a beautiful square bottle, which everyone loves. Compared to the parfum version, the EDP is slightly harsher. I find it sweeter, and also the patchouli is slightly more astringent. It's like a slap in the face kind of a smell. This one is a little bit, the patchouli is greener, it's softer, but it's more crisp. If you like scents like Flower Bomb, you probably like this because Flower Bomb is actually a very close reference to Coco Mademoiselle. It's got that same sweet florals with a slight hint of fruits, and then that strong vein of patchouli, clean patchouli running underneath it. Last beauty product is a MarcJacobs nail polish called 248 Ladies Night. And this is just a, you know, creamy Bailey's Irish cream kind of beige. You know, it's got a slight pink undertone to it. You know, the thing is, you don't wear this kind of nail polish for people to comment on your nails. They sort of just fade into the background, which I kind of like right now. With bright hair, bright makeup, bright clothes and everything, and then bright nails, it's a little bit too much. So I've really been enjoying just having these, you know, creamy, beigey taupe nails. This shade just makes me happy, and it's so low maintenance, you know. Sometimes if it chips around the corners, no one can tell. And well, I'm not saying that it chips all the time. The MarcJacobs nail polish formula is fantastic. It is really good. It dries really fast, it dries shiny, and it doesn't chip for a really long time. So it's an investment. But if you're buying very classic colors like red and beige or dark brown and all that, and you'll be wearing these repeatedly, then it's worth an investment, in my opinion. Now, one last thing, which is not makeup related, is my LeeKumKee Sriracha Mayo. Oh, this is so good. I don't know, it's just a genius idea to me to mix Sriracha and mayo. So you get that really spicy kick, but at the same time it's got the creaminess and tanginess of the mayo to tide you through. And I find this much better with white meats than with red meat. So like with beef and all that, it's not that great, but with fish, with chicken, with vegetables, this is just so good. Seafood. Now this was actually a product of the USA. It was made in the US, even though the brand is LeeKumKee. So I don't know, it may be available where you are if you're in the US. And if it's not, you know, just buy a bottle of Sriracha chili sauce, mix it with mayo, And that's it for my November favorites. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do have a video on my favorite makeup tools, you know, brushes and all that, coming up soon, so stay tuned for that one. And if you have any other suggestions for what you'd like to see me do next, please just leave them in the comments below. I will see you in the next video.